He only jumped up once and turned around. Yes, sir.
Okay, but we're still talking about after the popcorn drop.
I don't know when the popcorn left. I'm sorry.
Okay. We had already established that you said that as soon as Chad Olson jumped up, the popcorn went by the wayside immediately, right?
But I don't know at what point.
Okay, immediately.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, immediately is the point. When Mr. Olson jumped up, the popcorn went to the wayside immediately. That means right then, correct?
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm going to object again. That is not in a chronological base on the transcript.
Your Honor, he could.
There is nothing that
Overruled.
So you indicate that you're going backwards, correct?
I'm going backwards because he's coming at me. Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. And you indicate that he's virtually on top of you. Your left arm is out in front of you. You can read, this is lines 18 through 25. And you're saying no, 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 or whoa, whoa, whoa. So while you're back and he's virtually on top of you, your left hand's out. You're yelling no, 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 or whoa, whoa, whoa. And at that time, that's the time that you're saying you were struck in the head.
No, I was struck in the head as soon as he turned around.
Okay. Well,
Instantly. I mean, there was nothing that preceded that.
okay. Read lines 18 through 21. I'll read it to you. And you're sitting down, and there ain't no way to get out. So I'm stretched out trying to get away. My left arm is out in front of me. I'm either saying no, 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 or whoa, whoa, whoa. Suddenly, my head was to the right, so he hit me with something. I assume it was his fist. With his fist or something. I think he had his cell phone in his hand. I saw the blur of the screen.
Yes, sir.
That's my point, Your Honor. That is the correct one. He is trying to impeach him on something.
Your Honor, I would object to the speaking objection.
Sustained, I mean, overruled on yours and sustained as the speaking objections. You can approach, but you don't need to right now.
The picture that you have painted for Detective Proctor, and again, this statement is in evidence, the members of the jury can listen to themselves, okay? You indicate that when he jumped, the popcorn went by the wayside immediately. After that, you're explaining that Chad Olson is virtually on top of you. You're leaning back, you have your hand out yelling, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's at that time you're struck. That's what this statement says, correct?
Let me think about the time frame here for a minute. The first time I was hit was preceding anything else. This time this is what I mentioned earlier about jumping around. I know what this says, but I also know when I was hit. I don't have an explanation.
Yeah, so you don't have an explanation as to why a statement to Detective Proctor on the day of the shooting is so different than today.
I think that I was excited. I was scared. I think that once you have adrenaline going in your system, I may have confused one item with another. This happened over a period of seconds. I mean, virtually seconds, and in my mind, much quicker than that.
Okay. Would you agree with me that the powers of observation fade over time?
I would agree that, yes, that would normally be the case.
Okay. In fact, the phrase that I just used, the powers of observation would fade over time, is the phrase you yourself used in this statement with Detective Proctor.
Okay.
Would you agree with me?
I would agree with that. It's factual.
So, we're 8 years past the time of the shooting, correct?
Yes, correct.
And if the powers of observation fade over time, it's kind of interesting that today you have added a quote-unquote second attack. Now the reason, and I'm asking you this, wouldn't be the reason that you added a second attack is you're trying to justify this shooting by making an attack appear to have occurred 8 seconds prior, when in your statement to Detective Proctor, it occurred after the popcorn had fallen on the ground.
I never put the two together. He only hit me one time, and then he was reaching for me the other time, just like when he was shot. He was reaching for me.
I understand, and the jurors have the post-Miranda statement, and they listen to your testimony.
Right.
Okay? And the stories on your post-Miranda statement and today are very different.
We're dealing in microseconds today, and I was dealing with stress then.
Okay, well, 8 seconds isn't microseconds.
I don't know anything about 8 seconds.
We'll get there in a little bit.
Okay.
Now, you indicated that while your left hand was out, because Mr. Olson is virtually on top of you, you believe you were touching his shoulders or his chest because he was virtually in your lap. Do you remember saying he was virtually in your lap?
I do.
Okay, and that's why you're touching him, because the picture you're painting for Detective Proctor is he's on top of you. And you indicated in your statement to Detective Proctor that you were surprised you didn't shoot your own left hand, correct?
I was, yes, sir.
Okay, that's because it was out in front of the gun, correct?
That was my perception, yes, sir.
Okay, now you'd agree with me that had your hand truly, really been in front of the gun, there'd be stippling all over your left hand.
The gun was in a, I think you guys call it index shooting position. It would have been very close to my body. It would not have been extended. It would be pretty close to my right hip.
Okay, you're the one that said you're surprised you didn't shoot your left hand, right?
Yes, sir.
I didn't make that up. You said yourself you're surprised you didn't shoot your left hand,
That's correct.
okay? Because the gun was in a position where the bullet would come out and shoot your hand. So your hand had to actually be in front of the muzzle. That's the only way you could be afraid you'd shoot yourself.
Your illustration of having your hand straight out in front of you is not what my thought was. My thought was it was down by my hip, and my gun was down by my hip. So all this sticking your hand straight out in front of you had never crossed my mind.
Okay, but in your statement you're saying that you have your left arm out and you're surprised that you didn't shoot yourself.
Okay.
There's no way around that.
Perceptual distortion.
Okay. Or is it you're trying to justify a shooting that's not lawful?
That would be a fabrication
Correct.
for you.
Now, based on just Detective Proctor's statement, you indicated to Detective Proctor that you were hit on the left side of your face, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, today here in court, you said it was over your left eye, correct?
That's the left side of my face, yes, sir.
Okay, well, wouldn't you agree with me there's a difference between over your left eye and the left side of your face?
I think they're both located in the same place.
Okay, and I really don't mean, I'm truly not being sarcastic, okay? Over your left eye is over your left eye. This is the side of your face. You can't be telling this jury that over your left eye and the left side of your face is the same exact position, are you?
I never thought about a distinction between what you just illustrated. The left side of your face is the left side of your face, or your left eye is the left side of your face. I never differentiated between the two.
So there's no difference between the front of your face and the side of your face to you?
When you illustrate it, there would seem to be. My statement was completely different. I didn't see a difference.
And you're indicating in this statement, and again, we're still just talking about Detective Proctor's statement, that you were hit so hard that you were dazed.
I think dazed, surprised, shocked, all those things would fit that, yes, sir.
Okay, and you yourself said in a tape statement that you bruise easily.
On my arms and my, yes, sir.
Okay, and you heard Jennifer and Matt testify you bruise easily, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right, so here's what you're testifying to. You're testifying that there's I think it came out, a 6'4", Chad Olson, who's full of rage, is virtually on top of you, and he punches you or hits you hard with a cell phone, so much so that you're dazed, yet you easily bruise and there's not a single mark on your face. That's what you want this jury to believe.
Yes, I do.
Not a single swelling, not a single red mark, other than your left eye lid has a little bit of redness on it. That's the extent of the injuries a 6'4" person put on you when they hit you hard enough to daze you, correct?
And knock my glasses off, yes, sir. Or, I'm sorry, askew would be the right word.
And you remember listening to your own witness, Dr. Adams from the medical examiner's office, who talked about all these bony parts and their skin, and the skin's so thin on the side of the face, and you'd expect all these traumas. Yet there's not a single mark on you from being punched.
I disagree with the single mark comment.
And everything that we just described isn't even visible on the video, is it?
It was a perception on my part. I was scared. This guy was completely out of control. Didn't seem to be acting rational. I was so scared until I was not sure exactly where he was, but I knew he was attacking me.
Okay. So your perception was an attack that never occurred.
That would be a misstatement to say it never occurred.
Okay. Well, the video is an evidence. The members of the jury could review the video. And you would believe that you were in a life or death struggle prior to the shooting?
Yes, sir.
May we approach your Honor?
Yes. A 10-minute recess. Please remember my instructions during the break, and don't do any independent research. Don't talk about the facts of the case amongst yourselves or with anyone else. And we'll see you at 10 after. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We ready again? You can bring him in.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ready? Thank you. Jury stand in courtroom, Your Honor. Jurors may be seated. Jurors are all present and accounted for, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, were you all able to abide by my instructions during the recess?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I can't get this up on my screen. It's not. It's my fault. I have to push a button and I don't know which one. I've pushed every button I can figure out and that probably didn't help either, so I'll have to,
Technical difficulties as well.
I'll have to step down.
All right, we're going to move on from the first statement that you gave to Detective Proctor. I want to talk about what your testimony is today. Okay? Today you're testifying that there were 2 attacks, and that the first attack happened immediately when you got back from the manager, correct?
As soon as he jumps out of his chair, yes, sir.
Okay. And may I have the witness step down, Your Honor?
You may.
And I'm going to need to move this up.
I can see on the screen. I'll stay here.
Everybody see? More this way. Okay, so everybody see? Okay, so your testimony is today, you came back from the manager, okay? Okay. So this is you coming back from the manager, correct?
Excuse me, Mr. Rosenwasser, what exhibit is
So
this?
this is State's Exhibit number 2.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so here, this is where we see you coming back into the screen, correct?
I'm coming back into the screen, I'm not sure. Okay. All
Now
right.
you sit down,
Yes, sir.
you cross your legs, Now, your testimony is this is when you're attacked, correct?
Yes, it's right after I sat down, yes.
Okay, and right here, I don't know if anyone, can you all see this?
Yes.
I don't know if it's better to use the pointer or the laser. Okay, right here, you see where this is?
Yes.
Okay, that's Chad Olson, correct?
Yes, right there.
Okay, so let's keep an eye on Mr. Olson. And I'm just rocking this back and forth. You see him turning around in his seat here, correct? He's just swiveling at the hip as he's looking back at you.
All I can see is a head and an arm, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I mean, your testimony was is that he was standing up and he attacked you. But if you look at the video, doesn't it look as though he's turning in his seat?
He turned in his seat and jumped up. I don't.
Okay, well, your testimony was at this point, the implication was, based on what happened during the trial, was that this light right here that's attached to your shoe was supposed to be the cell phone possibly. So it's at this point in time that your testimony must be that you're being attacked.
I am being attacked right now. Whether the white light is a cell phone or not, I have no idea.
Okay, now let's watch this. So this is going forward. Okay, now at this point, and this is the loop that was admitted as defense exhibit, at this point,
Judge,
You're
this was
saying
not-
that-
I object, that is not the loop that we admitted. That is completely different, ours was done by our expert.
All right,
Okay.
then,
I'll rephrase it.
okay, thank you.
This is our video course, obviously not the loop that was your defense exhibit, okay? What I meant was this is the period of time that's depicted on the defense exhibit. Now, you're telling this jury that at this point in time, a cell phone was thrown at you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And your testimony was that at this point in time, Chad Olson is standing up and threw his cell phone at you and hit you in the left side of your face.
At this point, I get in the face, he's turning and standing up. I think you're showing microseconds down there. In my mind, it was all one move.
Okay, in your mind, it could be all one movement, but when you look at the video,
You can't tell.
you can't see it because it didn't happen.
You can't see it because he's not on the screen.
Right. So if he's not on the screen, he's not attacking you.
If he's not on the screen, he's off the screen.
Exactly.
Has nothing to do with whether he's attacking me or not.
Okay, so you're saying that when he's off the screen here, this is when the cell phone comes flying at you.
I think we've been through that, but at this point in time, it looks like a big distance there. We're looking at, I'm thinking 12 to 15 inches is where he's at. He's just right on the very edge of the screen.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay.
Okay? Did he punch you with the phone in his hand, or did he throw the phone at you? Because I think your testimony was that he punched you with the cell phone.
I wasn't sure because it happened so quickly.
Because clearly in looking at the video, there's no part of his body striking your face. Right? Because as you indicated, he's not even in the frame.
Okay, you threw it.
All right, so what you're telling this jury is that Chad Olson threw his several $100 iPhone at your face.
That would be a reasonable expectation, yes.
Okay, and obviously for you to fear for your safety so that you have to shoot Chad Olson later on, that cell phone had to be thrown pretty hard at you, correct?
It was, yes.
Okay, yet you don't have a single mark.
Judge, I'm gonna check, ask and answer, that was 20 minutes ago.
This man.
Well, Your Honor, this was a completely separate incident that Mr. Reeves was testifying about. That's the reason I'm going into this particular cell phone. This is a different incident.
All right, just continue.
So you're indicating that he threw it at you now, he didn't punch you with it, yet you don't have an injury consistent with being hit with an iPhone at such a great speed that you'd be later concerned for your safety.
I have on glasses that absorb the impact, that's my only fault. They were not skew on my face. Perhaps it was a glancing blow. I was hit in my face.
Okay.
Chad Olson.
Okay, and the glasses that we passed around to the members of the jury, they rest on your nose like all other glasses, yet you didn't have any markings from the part that holds the glasses close to your nose either.
I didn't see that on any of the photographs.
Right.
You gotta speak up, Mr. Wilson. Please, I'm sorry. Can you please speak up?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Can't hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so now let's talk about what happens next. Your testimony is that Nicole Olson is now standing up trying to hold Chad Olson back.
I don't think I ever said Nicole was standing up.
Okay. Is your testimony that at any point in time after this, Nicole Olson is standing up, holding Chad Olson back because he's raging towards the seat?
My focus was on Chad Olson. She had a hold of Chad Olson. I have no clue whether she was standing, partially standing, sitting, I don't know.
Okay. Did you ever see Nicole Olson trying to hold Chad Olson back after the cell phone's thrown at you?
I did.
Okay. And she's holding him back because your testimony is that he's coming to get you and he's this raging guy with a contorted face, right?
Yes.
Okay. And now, you saw the video where you were walking into the theater. We did that early on. You remember that? Okay. When you were walking into the theater, was there a fight happening in the theater?
Here I'm walking at?
Right.
No, there's no fight.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what was on the screen, but
Okay, I'm not talking about the screen. I'm talking about people in the theater. There wasn't a fight or something crazy going on, right?
no.
Okay, and here's what I'm saying. When you're walking into the theater, this motion-activated camera picks you up just walking with your wife casually to sit down in a seat, correct? You saw that?
I did.
All right. Now, you want this jury to believe that Nicole Olson is holding Chad Olson back. And he's raging to come at you. During the time period that this motion-activated camera isn't picking it up. correct?
Objection on an improper predicate, it's not picking up anything in row B. Anything in row B.
No?
That camera's picking nothing up in row B.
Excuse me. We can approach, no standing objections,
Can
please.
we approach?
Yes. And what is?
Hearing page 1867 and 1868.
I'm gonna object, what's the question?
I'm addressing what you...
What is the
Okay,
question?
can we look at that? I'm gonna talk about what's happening during this blue screen, okay? The blue screen, there was testimony by Mr. Koenig that the blue screen is unrecorded video segments. You remember that? No,
Objection,
that's in
no.
ours. In
Objection,
your
it's
video,
black
it's black.
screens.
I'm doing that. In our video, it's blue. In your video, it's black. Regardless, it's an unrecorded section that wasn't picked up by the motion detection system. You recall that? Okay, so during this section, this blue section, was Nicole Olson trying to hold Chad Olson back, and he was pulling away from her. He looked as though he was out of control, in a fit of rage, trying to get over the seat to you.
During that brief period of time, she had a hold of him now when he jumped up and turned. I didn't see her, I was only saw her.
Okay, what I'm asking you is this. During this period that was not recorded by the camera system, was Miss Olson trying to hold Chad Olson back because he was trying to get over the seat to you?
She had a hold of him when he first jumped up. I would assume she had a hold of him then.
Okay.
I
Would it refresh your memory to take a look at this hearing?
Sure.
Bottom of page 1868.
Yeah, that fits pretty much what I said. She had a hold of him before he jumped up. She had a hold of him while he was standing up.
So Chad Olson was pulling away. He looked to you like he was out of control, in a fit of rage, trying to get over the seat to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yet, my point being, when you're walking into the movie theater, the camera system is picking up just you and your wife walking in, correct?
When I first got there.
Correct. But this description that we just talked about, the way you're portraying it, he's trying to get over you, and she's holding him back. The camera system doesn't capture that. Yet, it can capture you just walking in the movie theater calmly.
It doesn't capture anything on their road, the camera system.
Okay? It doesn't capture it on your row. There's nothing captured here. The camera isn't picking anything up. There's no significant movement. It's not that it's not capturing the row, it's capturing nothing. Isn't that correct? The blue screen is not capturing anything at all.
I see what you, it's not detecting motion, is that what you're saying?
Correct. You're portraying this, that Nicole Olson's holding Chad Olson back.
He's trying to answer, and it's one interruption after
It
another.
hasn't, I'm sorry.
No, I'm listening.
It doesn't key on their row at all.
You're right. But when you're looking at this blue screen, which is a black screen in your video, it's not keying on any row because it's not detecting any motion. Isn't that
Because I'm
correct?
stuck to my seat, yeah.
But you're saying that Nicole Olson is fighting with Chad Olson, who's trying to get over the seat, yet it's not recording any motion.
Their row does not trigger, in my mind, does not trigger the camera in that row. If it did, we'd have full view of everything that he did.
No, the reason you don't have a full view of everything he did is because
Objection,
your
Your Honor,
camera angle.
that's not a question. He is argumentative at this point.
Isn't it true that the reason you don't see that row is based on the camera angle? Has nothing to do with the motion activation system?
It has to do with the fact that they're on the very edge of the camera system. I have no idea how it works.
Remember when I was asking you questions about your left hand? And if you're shooting, I use the term shooting from the hip, it's
Right.
incorrect, but we were talking about where your left hand would go, that to keep it out of muzzle path,
Right.
that you would put it close to your body.
That was I've never done.
Correct, okay? Now, do you see your right hand here? Your right hand has a firearm, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see your left hand,
No, sir, I don't.
okay? Right here.
That's the right hand, right?
No, your right hand is going to be with the gun,
Okay.
and if you look to the left side of your body,
I
you
have
see
no-
your left hand.
It's not, I guess, I don't know where it's at. It's not in front of me.
Okay. So you don't see it go over towards your chest?
see my hand moving because I'm being attacked. I don't know which way it's moving. I mean, it's moving all around. If you look, I don't know, it's in my lap perhaps.
What's in your lap after you bring it over from your left side, which is exactly what I'm asking you.
I did not consciously grab a hold of my chest. That's the only answer I can give.
You did it instinctively because it's part of your training.
No, we have never trained to grab a hold of your chest.
I'm not using the whiteboard anymore.
Okay. Mr. Martin, can you guys push it back a little bit further so I can see the podium? That's good, that's good, thanks.
So a couple more questions about that particular scenario. When you came back from the manager, when did you grab your popcorn? Immediately when you sat down?
Yes, I was sitting down, yes.
Okay. So before you were struck with the phone?
Before I was what, sir? Before what?
Before you said you were struck with the phone, you grabbed your popcorn?
Right, yes, sir.
Okay. But your popcorn doesn't spill when you're struck with the phone very hard, does it?
I can't see that either.
Okay. Now, I didn't show you the videos are in evidence, but let me ask you this. If a phone's thrown at you that hard, how is it that you keep going forward after the time the phone hits you? I mean, wouldn't you agree with me that generally when someone's hit hard with an object, they react, that they put their hands up to where they were hit, or their head goes backwards, they make some type of reaction. Why is it that you don't react at all once you're hit by this cell phone so very hard?
I could speculate and say that I had karate training, I had grappling training. When you're involved in a life or death struggle, you don't take time to grab your face. You need to defend yourself. After it was over with, I replaced my glasses and checked my face.
Okay, so just my last couple of questions. You remember when you were sitting in the cruiser, Detective Proctor's cruiser?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and he asked you a whole series of questions to go into detail about what occurred, correct?
I don't remember those detectives asking me very many questions at all.
Okay, but we have a transcript for it and we have your voice, correct?
Right.
All right, and when he came back to talk to you a second time, he said, look, and I'm paraphrasing, Curtis, if there's anything else you have to tell me, right?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
When you were sitting in the back of that cruiser, and now we're talking about this hit that you're so certain of, that it glazed and it was just a terrible hit. You remember when you were in the back of that cruiser and you said, as I'm sitting back in here, I'm second guessing myself.
Oh, yes,
Did
sir.
he even hit me?
Yes, sir. I've second guessing it for the last 8 years. Anybody that's involved in something like that and they don't second guess it, it's got to be nuts.
Okay, but what I'm asking you is not if you second guess that. You second guessed the very fact that you were even hit.
I second guessed every step of that encounter. Yes, sir, I did.
You agree with me it's not good to second guess whether or not someone ever hit you? Or even second guess yourself when you shoot and kill another person?
I think that if you are human and you have respect for human life, you would always second guess yourself constantly.
You second guessed this very hit that you testified to.
I second guessed this entire event.
I understand. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you. Redirect.
Yeah, just briefly, Your Honor. Mr. Reeves, let's go from the beginning of the prosecutor's cross. just briefly. He indicated that you were able to do all these things despite your current condition. Would you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury if you have a handicap sticker on your car?
Objection, this is not relevant to
Oh, yeah.
2014.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Mr. Reeves, he asked you about the fact that you could go hunting, get up on a tree, mow the lawn, right?
Yes, sir.
Somehow indicating that you don't have the conditions that you currently have, correct?
Correct.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury why you do all those things.
All right, Your Honor, I'll just object to the timeframe that we're talking about. It doesn't matter what's happening.
2013, 2014, those 2 years.
Yes, sir.
Tell the jury why you do those things.
To try to maintain a level of fitness as I get older, keep my joints. I do range of motion exercises. I rode bike. I used an elliptical. I tried to do it 4, 5, sometimes 6 days a week. I pick up, instead of using a pitchfork to pick up things in the backyard, I use my hands to bend over and pick them up. It exercises my back. I wear a back brace when I mow the
All right,
yard. So, so that I don't get jerked around while I'm riding the lawnmower. So that's what I've always done. Like when we shoot sporting clays, we walk for the physical exercise.
Do you just want to stay home and sit in a chair all day? Is that what you want to do?
No, sir, I don't.
Do you ever want to be at a point in your life where all you do?
Objection, relevance.
Do you ever want to be at a point in your life where that's all you're able to do?
No, sir, I'm not looking forward to that at all.
Now, the prosecutor showed you and the jury 2 photos. Can I approach? One was, I want you to read that exhibit number for the jury.
The ID number or the evidence number?
The evidence number.
The evidence number is 9-1.
9-1. Okay, so we're going to put 9-1 here. Now I want you to read this exhibit. These are the 2 exhibits that we passed around to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Read the exhibit number for that one.
7-3.
7-3. Let me give you one more. I want you to read that 9-1 is a part of a composite, okay, exhibit. I want you to read all of the numbers in this composite.
Each one of those that are
Each
stapled
one of
together.
them.
9-6, 9-5, 9-4, 9-3, 9-2.
9-2. And so the 9-1 that you mentioned earlier goes with that composite, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now, may I ask the witness to step down?
Sure.
Now, Mr. Reeves, I'm going to show you what's 9-1. That was the one that was shown with the 7-3 photo, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's look at that, hold it up for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I'm going to show now 9-2. You see 9-2 there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you see a hand coming in that direction?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's put that behind your fingers there.
Yes, sir.
Let's look at now 9-3. You see 9-3?
Yes, sir.
Can you point out to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury a hand?
Yes, sir, it's right here.
Okay, let's go to 9-4. Can you show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury the hand there in 9-4?
It's all the way across, right up against my face, looks like.
It's a progression in the composite, correct?
Yes, sir.
And let's go now to 9-5.
Yes, sir.
Can you look and show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury the hand there at 9-5?
Yes, sir, it's all the way across again, up against my face.
And then finally, let's go now to 9-6 and show the hand to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Yes, sir, it's still in contact right there, all the way across, right over the top of my wife's head.
And that was the popcorn incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let's go to 7-3. Stay right there, please. 7-3, what you testified in cross-examination, was the first attack, correct?
I think so, yes, sir.
Would you show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury Mr. Olson coming over his seat in the first attack?
Right here.
You may take your seat. No further questions.
May this witness be released? Or, are you done with them?
Yes, yes.
You can have a seat, Mr. Reeves. Counsel approach. Mr. Escobar?
The defense will rest.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, obviously you heard the defense rest. That means that the lawyers and myself have some work to do that does not involve you. It's going to take us probably a couple hours, so I'm going to let you go home for today. And the plan for tomorrow will be closing arguments first thing when you come in at 8:30. After that, after all the closings, I instruct you, and then it'll be time for your deliberations. So, as I mentioned earlier in the week, I don't know how long things will last tomorrow, so please make arrangements to possibly stay late. You know, I have no way of knowing how long your deliberations may go, but that's the order of business for tomorrow, okay? Any questions? All right, please remember my instructions during the recess. No independent research, no discussing the facts amongst yourselves or with anyone else. Don't watch the news, and we'll see you back in here, well, jury pool room at 8, a little after 8, whatever time you get there for them, but we're going to start about 8:30. Thank you.
Court is in recess for the jury.
Order after. We'll be in recess till then.